All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Past the Rock Podcast, Season 2. We are here in Mansfield Recording Studio in Mansfield, Texas, obviously. But I have a special guest with me in the house today, UTA basketball player, KAO. How's it going, man?
It's going good.
How's the preparation for, I guess, off-season and the upcoming season for you so far?
Did a lot of stuff in the off season in the spring, in the month of June. Did a lot of work, kind of just getting used to our new teammates. We had a lot of guys leave, and then we got some new teammates, and just looking forward to the season.
How's it getting used to, I guess, the incoming freshmen and transfers? How are they adjusting to the team?
They're adjusting pretty well. We got some pieces that we needed. Some good guards, a couple bigs, and everybody's looking good.
Okay. All right. So talk to me about just first of all the game of basketball and how you even got into it. What sparked the interest, and kind of when you knew that you wanted to keep going with basketball.
I mean, the first time that I thought to myself I wanted to play basketball, I was actually at home, back home in Nigeria. And, we used to watch a lot of American shows and movies, and there was this one movie, High School Musical. When I tell people this, they think, I'm making it up. But, I saw it, I saw Troy, he was just that man at his school. I was like, I want to play this sport, And then so when I came over to America, my cousin who had played, high school, could have played college, but he got hurt. He just kind of took me under his wing and, taught me how to play.
First of all, High School Musical is a fraud because I don't understand how Troy Bolton was the greatest basketball player of all time, but he was 5'8", and apparently he could dunk. That
was flying.
Made no sense to me. The center was 5'11". If you look at because I got to a point where I was like, okay, they kind of I get they're good at basketball, but it's let's look at their heights, and all of them were not. None of them was there's always gonna be that. Come on, every team there's that 6'5",
I think they lowered the rims to 9 foot for the movie.
Definitely did. And I was like, bro, that's so unrealistic. But at least
I've played high school teams, a lot of high school where the short, everybody's just short.
Everyone's the tallest guy's 5'11"?
Yeah, but they just run a lot of offense. They'll have you running around the place, run 50 plays on you. And
yeah, okay.
That's how they survive. But.
That's true. So you said you also played soccer.
Yeah.
How was that was there ever a point in time that you liked soccer better than basketball, or maybe just as equal?
No,
or it was just always basketball?
Growing up, it's Nigeria. Main sport was soccer and track, and soccer was is a religion. People fight over it. So it's the main sport that I knew, and basketball was just something I got into over here. And when I got into basketball, I found out that the seasons for school basketball and soccer were, at the same time, so I had to pick one.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like everybody who has, because I also moved from Nigeria, so I feel like everybody who's moved here, who was into certain sports, because initially when I got here, I played sports, so I was more interested in just kind of okay, I want to play everything possible, Apart from football, I don't know.
I wanted to play football.
I tried. I literally tried. I got turned around because the coach said I wasn't big enough.
Nah,
it is what it is. But I think that's definitely a shocker because it's you want to be able to play all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that you have to pick one is so that's
Yeah.
And even being, so you didn't have a choice to play. Because soccer season ran that deep into basketball?
In school, I never played selects, soccer, but during the school year, it was the exact same. It was sometimes after games, we'll go eat, and the soccer team was eating at the same place. Yeah, but I wanted to play, keep playing soccer, but I couldn't. I wanted to play football. But my mom said they were going to snap me in half. I was too skinny. I was 5'4", 86 pounds.
You were 5'4"? How old were you at this time?
I was 13 when I came over here. It was 4 days after my 13th birthday.
Stop. Wait, how are you 5'4"? And how tall are you right now?
6'9".
Wait, okay, explain that growth. I need you to explain it. That's way worse than Westbrook and Anthony Davis.
Oh, yeah. So I came over to America in October 2012. And it was 4 days after my 13th birthday. I was 5'4". When I got to school, they measuring weight and stuff. I was 5'4", 86 pounds. And then 8th grade, I grew to 5'8". Freshman year, only grew 1 inch. I finished my freshman year at 5'9".
Okay.
Sophomore year, grew to 6'1". Junior year, 6'3". Senior year, 6'6". And then I've grown 3 inches since I graduated high school.
That is actually crazy. 5'4" to 6'9" in less than 10 years. That's actually crazy. So I know that played a big role in adjusting to positions because was there times, because obviously growing that fast, probably starting basketball at like 5'5", 5'4", you're probably playing point guard. Now talk to me about like how it is adjusting to your position or to a different position, and even just, the taller you grow, you kind of have to play the game differently in a sense.
mean, like, I would say, like, my height, like, my height's a good thing,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, not want to be tall, but as far as, like, school basketball goes, I feel like it affected me in a negative way. Like, for most people, it wouldn't affect them in that way because I grew up, like you said, my cousin trained me as a guard. Like, I could dribble, shoot. Whenever I played, like, outside of school basketball, I would bring the ball up, shoot threes, all that stuff. But whenever I started growing a little bit, I got to high school, and they just put me in the post, like, just set screens, and, but, like, I was one of the most skilled people on the team, but because I'm tall, he just put me in the post. So I hated that. It was miserable.
And I feel like that's something a lot of, even people in the NBA, people play, college, a lot of them
so many
talked about
stories
it.
about that. Put them, you grow tall, they just put you in the post, Like, they're not really thinking, like, modern, how we have, point
KD,
guards who
who
are
was like,
6'8", Lonzo, those guys, Cade, who just got drafted, 6'6", 6'8",
Ben Simmons,
6'6",
people like that.
Yeah.
So how were you able to fight your way out of that? Like, did it kind of carry on through high school?
Yeah, it carried on, just being stubborn, like just, putting me there. So I kind of just had to work for my points, like, sophomore year. I don't know if you've seen like some of my videos.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't always athletic. People always, some people think I was just born like this, but nah, I was an African kid who came over here with a lot of stamina. Like I could run for days, but I didn't really have bounce like that. So my junior year, after I came back from an ankle injury, I just went on YouTube, just started looking up workouts, find like 5 ones that I liked, and did it consistently, go like by myself in the football weight room, Monday through Thursday, rest Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Did it for a month and started seeing progress. Like it was little by little. I was like, I'll keep doing it. And then, the height kind of came in play.
That makes sense. So, so talk to me about your time playing basketball at Mesquite in high school. First of all, what was it like that moment that you realized that you were kind of getting attention from collegiate recruits and stuff like that to play at the next level?
I mean, I have like a crazy story like to get to a Division I school. It wasn't like most people who, just, were like seeing out the gate, middle school or high school. Like my high school is known for football. Like we have, hundreds of scouts coming through. We have some players in the NFL, a lot of players playing Division I football right now. And, the basketball program wasn't, like a very popular. And so, like, I didn't even have an offer, like, or any interest like that, like my whole high school thing. And, big part of it was, I was just being hidden. Like, I was just limited to setting screens. By my senior year, I was the most athletic kid in my district, but the coach didn't want any place for me, so which kind of sucked. Like, I ended up leaving the high school, my basketball team, to go to track early, 4 games, during district. I was all right, I've had enough of this. And I went to track, had a pretty solid season. And then after track in the summer, I attended like a unsigned senior showcase. And I picked up, some JUCO looks, and then I picked up an offer from an NAIA school, SAGU in Waxahachie. And I did my freshman year there. And then after that, I was hurt, I was hurt, had a Jones fracture, and after I got back, I hit up like one of the scouts who followed me on Instagram, and I was just like, I'm looking for a Division I school, like he kind of knows what I do, and then he just so happened to have worked with somebody at UTA, and that's kind of how I got there.
That's actually a very different, crazy story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people coming out of high school, it's just so especially with basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like football, the beautiful thing about football is there's always so many people needed because, an average football team, obviously you need so many people on both sides of the ball to play football, so there's more spots to fill as opposed to like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it comes to the NBA, even when it comes to varsity basketball,
Mm-hmm.
there's only so many spots if you're not a senior,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like so hard to even make it even as a senior.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about how were you able to just view yourself? Because at that point in time, I feel like a lot of people kind of see it and just like, okay, maybe basketball is not for me. Maybe I'm just going to stop here in high school. What kept you going regardless of not getting any attention from any Division I scouts?
I mean, I was just, I was just driven, because I'm from, back home. I was like, everything happens for a reason. Like, me coming over here, and then I get into basketball, and then all of a sudden I start growing every year. So I was like, all right, I'm supposed to be, doing this. So I just kept on pursuing it. Like, my senior year, like some people were like, you should just apply for school and just be a regular student. I wasn't having it. So, I just knew eventually, things were gonna go my way. So
growing up, who was some of the, I guess, basketball stars after you started getting into basketball? Who was some of the all-time greats to like, the best of the best that you kind of looked up to?
Oh, since I got here, well, the first like player who I just kind of like became a fan of, because my first Christmas in America, my cousin who taught me how to play basketball, he gifted me a Derrick Rose jersey, and at that time I wasn't really familiar with the
NBA,
players
like that.
So I started watching all his YouTube videos. That was the first person that that I was a fan of. But I started playing and stuff. I was skinny. I got like comparisons to KD. And that's my favorite player now because I want to be just some tall center. I want to be mobile.
Yeah.
Shoot and all that. So that's like my favorite player.
So honestly, Derrick Rose would have gone down as the best point guard of all time.
I think he's the biggest what if. What if
in sports, probably at least in basketball.
Yeah, because people still talk about it to today. It's like, what if he wouldn't have got hurt?
Yeah,
because there's like Westbrook, Jama, those type of point guards.
Yeah.
It was Derrick Rose who was the main.
But Derrick Rose was like 10 times better than that. Like he could jump and like his shot was even like he could shoot at a good rate, and he was like your perfect athletic point guard. Just injuries actually just hold people back. Speaking of injuries, talk about that year after you said you went to SAGU, after the time where you were injured. How was that? How was it coming back from that injury? Like the whole rehab process and everything.
I mean, I was out for like maybe 3 to 5 months, and then after like 4 months, went to the doctor. He said, all right, you could start, going to play basketball now. And I was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah. He's like, are you sure? So whenever I first, got in the gym afterwards and, I was shooting and stuff, like I was scared to jump. I'm like, what if I land and then, it happens again?
Yeah.
So I was just kind of taking it easy. And then like after like 4 days of doing that, I was like, oh, well, if it happens again, it happens again. And then I attempted in East Bay, and I make it. I was like, okay, I'm back, And then I got back on my workouts just to kind of get my athleticism back up.
Was it, honestly, talk about your first day back in the gym after that injury? Because I heard from a lot of people that the first day is always the hardest because you're trying to get your muscle memory back. Like, how was that?
Oh, the jump shot was broke, like bad. Like it was going places I wasn't aiming for. It was bad, but like I was scared, like to move. Like I was doing layups. Like I never do layups like that. I don't like doing layups. Just whenever I'm shooting. If I'm going to the rim, it's to dunk it. So I was just taking it easy and just because it's like you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because it was a foot injury, so I'm like, I have to be careful how I landed.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just really think like another thing about injuries, I feel like it's a lot more mental, a lot of times. I feel like the reason why some people never even come back to where they were at that before the injury is kind of the mental aspect of it, because it's like, okay, you can probably still jump and do a windmill dunk like you did before, but now you're thinking about the fact that the last time I did this, I tore my ACL or I broke my foot or my shin pop, like stuff like that, and it's like that is messing with people's heads so much. Like I feel like that controls so much in sports, because it's like I don't want to do this same thing that got me hurt. It's kind of like you're kind of like traumatized by it, and I feel like it takes a different kind of just commitment to come back from that, because I really feel like it's very slept on, because obviously once you're rehabbed, once you're healed, you're healed. Like your body can most likely still do a lot of the things you used to do before.
Even better, because they always say whenever you heal, like the bone comes back stronger than it was before. Like even when the doctor, who's an expert at what he does, he said you're good, like you're 100%. I was still like, are you kind of doubting him, like, are you sure? He was like, yeah, like So I was all right.
Yeah, man, injuries are crazy, like, but yeah, I just really think like being more mental than physical. Like it's a big role that I think is kind of downplayed, because, for example, you think about Derrick Rose. We just talked about him. Honestly, I feel like Derrick Rose can probably still dunk the way at least when he first got back from his injury. I feel like he could dunk the same way he would back then. But I feel like the fact of, okay, he did it the first time he got hurt. It was like, okay. And then he came back. It was like, okay, he kept playing the same way. And then it happened again. I feel like with him, it was just like, bro, it's happened a few times now. I don't think I should be playing that way. And another thing that a lot of people don't pay attention when it comes to injuries is the way people are trained to play could affect the way they get hurt. And I think that was Derrick Rose's problem, because if you ever notice, every time he dunked, he landed in like the most unsafe way ever.
Man.
Like every time he landed on one foot most of the time.
The worst one was the clip of him there was this dunk. He windmilled at a high school game when he was at Simeon, and he landed on his left leg, and he like buckled. Like it was bad.
Yeah, it's things like that, and it's like, honestly, I say it all the time. I wish his trainers would have looked at him and been like, "You need to fix that, because you're landing wrong." Like, who knows what, he could have played so many more years playing like that. But, it is what it is. Like, time. It is what it is. We still have Derrick Rose in the NBA.
Yeah,
and it's
I
good
feel
to
like
see that.
he was just thinking more like longevity, like trying to stay in the league. And, he's just trying, he still, goes to the rack and stuff, but he's more of like a shooter and playmaker. He doesn't really try to, go crazy like that. And like with the landing thing, people say the same thing about Ja Morant.
Yeah.
And like me, one of my good friends, he's always like, if I post like a video or, something, or he's in the gym with me, and he was like, oh, that landing was bad. I was all right. So every time even though this is the thing though, like if you jump really high, you're not thinking about, it's kind of hard to control how you land. It's just some dunks, like, you land awkward. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you can't control it, but I try to think about it and, try to land on as much as I can.
So talk to me about transferring to UTA, and then now obviously knowing that you're in Division I basketball. How was that? Like, how was the first couple of practices, the training camps, and of course like your first game? How was that for you?
I mean, the first couple of practices, like we started off light, doing like, we weren't really scrimmaging each other. It would be like one group, in the weight room, the other one on the court, and then we'll come back and do like some 4-on-4 stuff, But it would like split into groups where we weren't seeing, like I didn't even see most of my team for like the first 2 weeks. And then, whenever we started doing like team stuff and, scrimmages and stuff, that's kind of where I like, I hit the wall, like, seeing how different it is, stuff was, going like fast paced, like trying to catch balls, like they're actually throwing, like
passes,
good passes, and then just the physicality of it. Like I'm skinny. Like when I got there, I was like 170, and I ended up hitting 200 pounds because the strength coach their goal was to put weight on me. But when I got there, the physicality was getting to me. Like pretty much all my teammates, especially when you're playing post, you're trying to go for rebounds, they're pushing you. Like, I would be sore after every practice. Like, I felt like I was getting killed out there. That was bad. And then, you have the coaches, it's like, they just want you to be better. They're yelling at you, just being tough on you. So I just had to get used to that, the physicality. And eventually I, like, tried to work my way around it. And another thing, like, I feel like the main thing that helped me, like, even though they were being more physical, like on the rebounds and stuff, like, I jump higher than everybody. So I just go up, and go grab.
Yeah, that makes sense. So tell me about, how every athlete has that. Whenever you go to the next level, whether it's, going to college or going to professionals or even making varsity, there's always that wake-up call. Like, there's always something that happens. Maybe someone crosses you up so bad and you're like, whoa, this is like top-level ball, or like someone dunking on you or blocking your shot. Like, tell me what moment that was playing at the high level and you realize these guys are skilled.
I mean, I've gotten dunked on a couple times, in my basketball career. Like, the first time I got dunked on in practice, like, it wasn't a wake-up call. Like, I got dunked on. It was my first time being dunked on at the new school, but, I've dunked on people, so it wasn't like a wake-up call thing. I'm like, I do the same thing to people, so, and especially if you're a shot blocker, like, it's gonna happen, I wouldn't say I had, like, just, like, the wake-up call would be just how tough it was. Like, the coaches, like, it's like, you just, like, they care about you. Like, afterwards, have, like, talks and stuff. It was just it's a kind of like it's a business type of thing. High school, it's like, it's school. Like, you do your thing. Next day, you're in class. It's not, it's not the same. It's like higher level. It's just being here and going through the practice hours, kind of like the wake-up call.
Yeah. That's actually, like, talking about business, I feel like it's a very big part of sports. Unfortunately, I feel like in a lot of the higher you get into sports, Division I, NFL, NBA, MLB, all that kind of stuff, I feel like it becomes more of a business and it kind of kills the whole aspect of, playing sports and, having fun. And it's kind of like, have you ever had one of those mentalities? Would you say you've ever been in a situation or ever seen, like, the view of sports being more business than sports itself, if that makes sense? Because how, like, for example, how in basketball, when someone is the top dog on the team, it's like everyone's cheering for them and all that. But the moment they have a slump and they're no longer carrying that team together, it's like, okay, let's just get rid of him and get, like, the next young star going in. So I guess, like, what would be your mindset on that? Do you think it is what it is, or do you think it's something that's kind of like holding a weight on sports right now?
I mean, like, I don't play professional side. I don't know how it is there, but for college, I would say, like, let me compare it to high school. High school, you have, like, a couple good players, and if they're having bad games, they just keep going. If they're shooters and they're in a slump, they're out there and they keep trying to shoot through it. In college, it's more of like a next man up thing. Like, it doesn't matter, how good you are.
Yeah.
If you're not performing, there's a next man up, So you just got to go out there and perform. That's just how it is.
Yeah. So I think I've always heard from every kind of college athlete I've ever heard play, whether it's even junior college, like, I've heard it's very, like, dog-eat-dog mentality. Like, it's very, like, everyone for themselves. Like, yeah, we're a team and all that. We're striving towards the same goal to win a championship, to win so amount of games. But it's like, at the end of the day, I'm trying to make it out of here. Like, I'm trying to, whether it's, get to the highest position possible, graduate, something. But I'm trying to, go to school for free. Because, some people go to college just to get a scholarship. Some people don't really care to go to the next level. There's also people who are, like, trying to get to the highest level possible. And I feel like in college, that gets really grimy in a sense, because it's like, bro, like, at the end of the day, the next man on my team, like, there's so much competition to every level in sports. Like, from your teammate competing for a starting spot to, like, getting attention from a college, and then getting into college, and then actually getting to start and getting out of college. Like, there's only it's like every time there's a step forward, there's like the amount of people kind of shrink.
Yeah.
Like looking at the amount of people who even get to play college basketball, definitely significantly less than
The
probably
high school,
yeah,
a lot, like
significantly
1%
less.
or something.
Yeah, and
like
then
that.
looking into professional, like bro, there's only
It
so
gets
many
smaller.
professional players, both in the NBA and also in the G League and even overseas. Like there's just so it's just really sports is like a breaking down process, and it's just
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like they're making cuts. It's like
Yeah.
tryouts, you know.
Yeah.
The higher the level, you know, you trim
The
it
harder it
down to the
gets.
best, and then you trim it down some
Yeah.
more.
So before your games, whenever, whether first game of the season, most important game of the season, all that, what are some songs that you say you listen to, or that get you like turn up to actually play and go crazy?
I mean, we have like one of our teammates, controlling, the speaker in the locker room. But me personally, like, I'll listen to, like, I liked a lot of New York drill songs, like Pop Smoke. I listen to, like, that stuff. It's like, there's no way you don't get hyped to that. The beats, it gets you hyped. So that was like my go-to. Welcome to the party. That was the one.
Yeah, Pop Smoke, man, really, he would have really been like one of the. It's just the fact that even with his next the album he released after that, after his death in the summer, it just showed a whole different part of music, because it was like, how can a guy go so hard, drill music, but at the same time make slow music and
slower,
sing? It's actually so crazy. But speaking on last summer in quarantine, talk to me about staying focused on sports and on your future while being in a wild pandemic. People are losing their jobs. People are, dying. People are sick. Everyone's locked in the house. This future is kind of like smoky and stuff. Like, tell me about like what got you through that time.
Last summer?
Yeah, like during the whole pandemic.
I mean, last summer, it was before I got to UTA.
Yeah.
Like, I was just at home. Like, I knew I was going there. I was taking classes and stuff to kind of catch up for the time that I missed, because of my injury. And I was working, when I got back, I was working at Home Depot. And at first, the whole COVID thing started. And, we were just like, okay, it was like far news at the time. There's like this outbreak of a virus. And then at the store, a few people started wearing masks. And we're like, why are they wearing masks? It was like one or two people like. And then, we went from like, why are they wearing masks to
we started wearing masks too.
We didn't want to. They forced us to wear masks. We're like, what? You're working at Home Depot. There's all types of like stuff going on, different machines, and your nose is stuffed up, like, and you have to wear a mask. So it was very uncomfortable. And, like, the whole, like, things being shut down thing, like me, I don't really like going out that much. Like, I'll go out, occasionally, but I'm a homebody. Like, I just like to chill, watch TV, play the game, go hoop or something like that.
Yeah.
So that part didn't really affect me that much. But it was just, like, and then where it really hit me was when, I got to UTA and practices would get shut down for 2 weeks if somebody tested positive for COVID and stuff. So, that was, and then, the fans, like I had never played a season of basketball where fans were limited. Like we have fans, but the fans compared to how big the arena was, it was as if like our practices were more energetic than the game sort of, they only allowed like 500 fans or something like that.
Yeah.
So it felt pretty empty.
Yeah.
That was like the main thing, like the fans, and then our conference had split the conference in half, and we didn't play half of the conference because they wanted to limit travel, and we didn't get to fly, to the other states and stuff.
So, right before y'all were able to get back into practice and hearing the word on sports resuming, were you ever worried that the whole COVID thing could affect kind of like the future of you playing basketball? Possibly. Were you ever scared that maybe the next season wasn't gonna happen due to COVID? Like, was that a fear of you or for you at all?
I mean, yeah, I thought about it, but like, they always told us it would just start late, but with all the news I was hearing, I was like, like that's crazy. Like if we don't have a season, You know, so whenever they finally like released a date, you know, that the NCAA released a date for games, there's like November 25th, and so everybody was kind of relieved.
I really think, honestly, like when it comes to COVID and everything that happened, I really think when you look at the NBA bubble, that's a crazy success, and I feel like there should be a whole documentary about the bubble itself.
I mean, it's probably in the works. I'm pretty
sure it has to be in the works.
It has to come out. Like it wasn't like some little thing. You know, I'm pretty sure they had some camera people over there documenting everything. Like, you know, people didn't really know if it was gonna be successful.
Yeah.
You know, but it did. It did. Adam Silver did a better job than all the other sports commissioners.
It's just really crazy to think about the fact that like there's so many players like all in one place. Like there's so much that can happen within that time.
Family in and out, and still no cases.
No cases at all. Like that was the biggest success. And like just looking at things, COVID in general actually, I feel like challenged the mind of everybody. Like even starting from someone who, you know, starting their own business or doing their own thing to like the biggest companies. Like it showed that like there's so many other ways to do stuff. Like we can actually create ways to do things. Like for example, people who work, like it showed that you can actually have a remote job and be just as efficient as being in the office. And like with basketball, it's like, yes, we love the fans, but it showed like who's like the top dog. Like, you know, like now you have to look at virtual fans, not the same thing at all. Like you can't look in a crowd and like interact with a fan at all. Like, you know, it showed that like it really just brought out the toughness in a lot of people. And even right now, I guess we're still kind of fighting through because apparently there's a next wave, you know. But like I feel like when all is said and done, like the whole pandemic itself has actually showed like a lot of the world and a lot of people different sides of themselves. Even to me myself, I would say like I went into quarantine a different person and came out. Obviously, I just didn't come out like super transformed or anything, but there was so much lessons that was learned from that. And I guess my question to you would be, what were some things that you think that you took away from just the pandemic itself?
Just don't, you know, like take little things for granted. Like biggest one, wearing masks. I hated it. It was the most uncomfortable thing. But, you know, whenever I was wearing these masks, I was like, well, the next time I could go out without wearing it, I'll be like, you know, more appreciative of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, really just it's like at least for me, you know, there's people like there's people who are fortunate enough to not have lost anybody through the COVID. Like people, like there's so many people who have lost people due to COVID. Like I had, you know, people who worked in hospitals, all that kind of stuff, and like just hearing the stories of like people just dying from COVID or how peak things got is actually crazy. Like it got to the point where nurses, like, even to this day, you still have like people who work in the medical field like quitting and because no one wants to see that anymore. It's like I think I saw a video or something of a nurse saying something about like it feels like they're just working in a graveyard because every day there's just dead bodies coming out the hospital. So I feel like when you said like just to piggyback off you saying taking the little things seriously and not for granted, it's things like that. It's like, bro, we're fortunate enough to actually live a normal life as opposed to people who are fighting for their lives in the hospital. I just feel like it's something that the public needs to. I hated wearing masks too. Like I hated it. I wish I didn't have to wear masks. But if wearing masks is what's gonna get us through COVID, we got to do it. Like it's not like we can't be like selfish about it because at the end of the day, it might affect you the same way it's affecting literally the person next to you. Like I feel like everyone in this room, COVID affected all of us in a very different way, but also so many similarities. So to close out this episode, man, this is gonna actually help me view my perspective on you in sports. Who are your top 5, top 10, top whatever's basketball players of all time? And honestly, if a certain name is not in your top 5 list, bro, it's okay. Just go ahead.
Of all time?
All time.
I'm like, are we going off people who like I wasn't alive to watch that I know about? Like Jordan and them?
Yeah, Jordan included, Kareem.
Top 5?
Or top 10, whichever one is easier for you.
Top 10? Oh, man, I'm kind of biased when it comes to...
Yeah, I mean, we're all biased.
Yeah. All right, so I have MJ there.
Okay.
That's one.
In no order?
No order, yeah. Okay. I have Kobe there.
Okay.
I have to have Kobe. LeBron is there.
Okay.
Magic. And even though a lot of people don't put him there, Kareem, because why wouldn't you put Kareem there? How many is that?
That's 5.
That's 5? We
Yeah.
keep going? 10.
You don't have to keep going.
No, because I have to squeeze KD in there somewhere.
You have to squeeze who?
KD in there, because he's top 10. I feel like KD.
Right now, you think KD is top 10 basketball players of all time?
Yes.
Well, right now.
He's the best scorer of all time.
He's the best scorer of all time.
Exactly. That doesn't make him top 10.
So are you saying, okay, so when you're talking about, are you going to be talking more about greatness, or are you talking greatness and skill, or just skill set?
Greatness and skill. Like, the dude is a great basketball player. You watch him.
He is, 100%. But I think, I also kind of think that, KD's story is still being written right now. So is LeBron. But I just don't know if KD has... If like being in the top 10 is not outrageous, but it's like there's so many guys. Like, first of all, you always have to put LeBron. You like anyone who doesn't have LeBron, Kobe, and obviously Michael Jordan in their top 10, top 5. Like, you're crazy. Like, obviously,
you have to put them.
Then you gotta think about, honestly, you gotta think about people like Kareem. Magic Johnson is gonna be in there. Shaq is top 10 basketball. I don't care what anyone tells me. He's literally the most dominant player of all time. Then you got to think about guys like Wilt Chamberlain. Even though Wilt Chamberlain, I really don't understand. Like, a lot of people have always said, like, Wilt Chamberlain might be a myth because no one, like, everyone who watched him play is no longer, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's, like, only so much video on Wilt Chamberlain, but the fact that someone dropped 100 in a game, it's kind of nuts. And the stats
like
that he put back then.
The things with the athleticism.
Yeah.
Like, he ran, a 4.5 40.
Things like that, I don't know if that's true.
He benched 500 pounds, and he had a 48-inch vert at his height, and he used to grab the top of the backboard, all that stuff.
At some point, I just felt like people were just running with it at that point. They were like, okay, he scored 100 points. Let's just add other things to him. Because, honestly, the way Wilt Chamberlain is talked about, he might as well be better than Michael Jordan. Like, he might be the greatest of all time.
Yeah, they have him like this, monster of an athlete.
Yeah. Okay, but also you got to think about people.
People squeeze Larry Bird in there somewhere. Like this, it's just everybody has their own opinions.
So with my point is when you throw all these people in there, you really think Kevin Durant is in that list?
Yes,
at this point?
I'm putting him
at what
in
number?
There.
Is he top 5?
He's top 10. He's top 10.
Okay, so at the bottom 10, what is he at? Like 6?
He's in there.
No, you're trying to avoid the answer because it's not easy. Because if KD is in top 10, he's 10.
10?
He's 10 out of the top 10.
Oh my goodness. Kevin Durant.
He's 10 out of the top 10 because you just named your 5. You named obviously MJ, LeBron, Kobe.
Yeah, KD has to be like
Kareem.
6.
Who was your 5?
He's knocking on the door of top 5. He's 6.
He's on 6,
bro.
No, KD
this is the thing. Like, to me, the way I look at KD. He's a basketball god. Just look at him. He's 7 foot. He's a 7 foot Kyrie Irving.
Okay. Yeah,
exactly.
He's probably the greatest talent you ever see. He's one of the greatest talents you ever see in basketball. But he's not knocking the door in the top 5 just yet.
Nobody can guard that man. That's the point.
Nobody could guard it.
You need a bucket. Just give him the ball.
Okay. No one can guard Curry. I could put Curry. I put Curry over KD. One thing about Curry is Curry created things that KD created things for himself. Curry created things for himself, and what Curry literally expanded the 3-point line. Like, in basketball 5-10 years ago, shooting from the 3 is like, okay, it's good. Everyone, the 3-point line's right here, at the max, people are shooting from right here. Anyone shooting from right here is like, oh my God. But Curry and people like Dame have been shooting from the logo, and it's like now that's normal, and you see Curry, other people doing that. So it's like, I'm putting Curry over KD because Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, in my opinion. And then you have to think about people like Hakeem Olajuwon.
I mean, but this is the thing, though. Like, people talk about, like, how MJ, kind of made people go to fadeaways and stuff. Steph, is the reason a lot of people want to shoot threes, like shooting from far.
Yeah.
They don't talk about, like, how KD impacted it, enough. Like, people like me, tall, lanky athletes who are just, have a guard mindset. Like, most athletes don't want to be centers anymore because of Kevin Durant. Like, they want to be guards, like big guards. So, nobody talks about that enough. Like, that's his impact. You see a 7-footer out there dribbling the ball, full court, crossing over, shooting. Yeah, that's his impact. And you're telling me he's not up there.
Oh, I see. You're changing my words. I didn't say he's not up there. I just don't know if he's a guaranteed top 10 yet.
It's guaranteed. Whenever he's done, he probably would be in the top 10. I'm squeezing him in that top 5. But you understand
that the one thing I can't let go is the fact that KD really just turned on OKC. And that has nothing to do. But it's just it's just something I can't look past. The only reason, and my only reason behind the whole KD thing.
It's a business. That's the
okay. But here's my point. I wasn't necessarily mad that he left them. Obviously, he went to the team that he had just lost to the previous season. That was not my biggest.
That made it look weird.
But that was not even my biggest takeaway because at the end of the day, it's business. You know, my biggest takeaway was the fact that allegedly he had dinner with Westbrook and Ibaka and all these people, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm not leaving. Like, bro, I'm coming back. We're running this back." The next day he signs with
Russ, even though they're cool now, but whenever it happened, they said Russ had found out on social media.
Yeah.
So, I don't, as a KD fan, the whole news was shocking to me. My cousin was the one who told me, he was like, Kevin Durant went to Warriors. What? But the thing is, people tried to knock off his rings, social media a lot. They said, "Oh yeah, they're fake." But you look at the stats. Yes, Curry was on the team, but especially in the playoffs, the man averaged like 30 over 35.
Do you want me to point out something to you? Because here's what people ignore. Obviously, he's able to do that because you have to worry about guarding Curry, Clay, and Draymond. Obviously, the fact that every team had so many other people to guard that there had to be a loophole because KD is a bucket, Curry's a bucket, Clay is a bucket, Draymond Green is a fucking terror on the field, So it's like at some point in time, it's like there was gonna be a loophole, and obviously KD's that guy that you can't block a shot. I mean, his wingspan is so crazy. So I feel like teams having so many people to guard made open so much room for KD to score.
But this is the thing though. There's two ways to look at that situation, right? You can look at a stacked team and be like, okay, he's going off because they're too busy focusing on the other people, right? But this is the thing though. What's more impressive is the guys who average 25, 30 points. The three of them, right?
Yeah.
And he still manages to put up that many points and dominate, even though, whenever he got to the team, everybody think their stats will go lower because there's three people, but he still, stood out in front of all of them. So
it's all good, man. You passed the test. I was just messing with you. KD is top 10, obviously, but it's just the fact that I always try to hear what people have to say when they put KD in there because a lot of people just say he's 7 feet tall. Why is KD actually there? You know what I'm saying?
People don't talk about the impact enough.
Because for me, I'm a LeBron fan, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to stop me from saying LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time.
This is the thing, though.
I'm not gonna stop. I will literally say that. Michael Jordan could walk in this room right now, and I'll be like, I respect you, but LeBron is the best basketball player of all time.
This is the thing, though. LeBron fans and Cowboys fans, to me, have something in common, right?
So thank y'all so much for watching.
No. Look, my cousin.
You're coming at me right now because I'm both.
My cousin is the biggest LeBron fan, right? And every time LeBron does anything, he tries to rub it in my face. And he's not the only LeBron fan that does that. Cowboys fans at school do the same thing.
Okay, so
I put y'all in one bubble. I don't hate LeBron, but it's like you people are rubbing him in people's faces so much that
do you think people didn't do that about MJ?
I don't think how people say LeBron has a lot of haters. I don't think the people hate LeBron. They hate how some of his fans are. They're extremists.
No. LeBron was at some point in time one of the most hated athletes in sports. People don't hate him.
The fans started it.
They took down a banner of LeBron. They burned jerseys. For no reason that they bought with their own.
It's because he left.
If I'm burning things that I bought with my own money, just because that's a different type of hate. That is a different level of hate.
That's different though. They did the same thing to KD. They did it to Simmons just a couple months ago.
LeBron is because LeBron is hated. The reason why he's more liked now, but villain LeBron on the Heat was one of the most hated basketball players of all time. And the reason why LeBron is still kind of hated to this day is because everyone knocks down everything LeBron tries to do. He won a ring in the bubble. Oh, that's a Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah, I see that.
Playing in the bubble is probably hard for LeBron. It was probably harder playing in the bubble than playing in an arena because LeBron is used to the fans. That's what he loves. So
He was even against it, like playing in the. You know, like when I see those type of comments, like people who talk about LeBron and AD's ring being Mickey Mouse rings or KD's rings not being real, like I don't even pay attention. Like you could tell they're just, you know, people who are just on the internet to troll. But like, you know, I just think it's funny how, like, I know he has haters. Every athlete has haters, right? But I feel like the amount of his haters are exaggerated. Like, you know, to me, there's so many LeBron haters, right? If he's hated by everyone, why is it that everybody's a LeBron fan?
No.
Like, everywhere I go, I see y'all. Like, y'all
I don't think he's
everywhere.
hated by everyone.
So,
I just think he's like, but it's just like LeBron sneezes and people are tweeting. LeBron was sneezing on the basketball court. He doesn't care about, like, LeBron literally had a cigar. After he won a championship, he was talking to his mom on the phone. People tweeting, "Oh, LeBron is trying to be extra. He's doing that for media."
No.
It's like, bro, he can't. He literally couldn't do anything.
Everything he does, like whenever he posts like a book he's reading, it's like, why is he always on the first page?
That's funny. I found that very hilarious.
He was at his son's basketball game, and you know they had layup line and stuff, and he was in there just cooling, dunking and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, classic LeBron, always trying to take the spotlight."
Yeah, it's like, bro, he's just being a regular guy. But I mean, at the end of the day, Katie's there. I give it to you. I just wanted to see how far you were going to go with it.
Don't give it to me. Give it to him.
I give it to him. No, I just want to see, because I want to see how far, because a lot of people give up in that argument after you start naming so many players.
No, I'm not giving up. Like, that's KD. Like, okay. I will, you know, he's the best scorer of all time. He's a basketball god.
True. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you for coming out, man. Appreciate you doing this interview. Wishing you the best of luck this season. Hope everything goes well. Just always remember that LeBron's the best player of all time, and the Cowboys.
Wait till KD's career is over. Cowboys is the same thing every year.
We'll figure it out.
Are y'all going to the Super Bowl this year?
I don't say that. I will never say that. I will never say that. I'm a realistic guy.
Okay, you're not one of those.
No.
Most of you. Oh yeah, this is the year.
No.
They see Dak putting on socks. Oh yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl.
No.
Like,
we'll see.
Bro, what?
We're about to play the Super Bowl champions. We'll see how that goes. First game. After the first 7-8 games of the season, I can tell you what they'll do this season.
First 7-8 games, you know, if you don't win those, you're not going to the playoffs.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what I need to know. Exactly, that's what I need to know. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. We're now on Apple Music and Spotify. Y'all make sure to check it out. Links in my bio. Links in the comments and description on YouTube. It's a wrap. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace out.